Izdihar Jamil. She's the the CEO, Ketua Executive or CEO of Diamond Queen LCC in the United States. She has a PhD in computer science and #1 best-selling author of Money Makers and was featured in Forbes, Forbes TV and TEDx.com. Okay, so welcome everybody. I will start playing a video. This video will last about 3 minutes. Please tune into the video and watch this video to understand more about our panel. So okay, so this is the video.
My name is Dr. Izdihar Jamil. I'm a media expert and I'm a mom of 3. I love sharing women's voices without prejudice. I love hearing the voices on prestigious platforms, whether it's on books, on TV, on magazines, on podcasts, on TED, or Forbes. Their voices should be heard. I grew up in Malaysia, and in Malaysia, we have the 3 biggest races, the Malay, the Chinese, the Indians. I always grew up in a multicultural country. And because of that, I was really, really comfortable with who I am, what I stand for, how I look like, what I wear. And then I moved to America in 2015. But what I didn't realize, the American dream that comes together with American dream is the social adversity that I have to deal with. In all those instances, like people couldn't hear my voice. They just had this preconception and judgment and prejudice against me just because I look how I look, I wear the hijab, I'm a Muslim woman, I'm an immigrant. So that's the point where I'm kind of like, I need to do something about this. Because I wanted to hide. I wanted to doubt myself. I just wanted to not go out. But it's not serving me. It's not serving my children. It's not serving the people around me. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do more of myself out there. I'm going to put myself out there on TV, on magazines, on TED Talk, on books, on interviews, podcasts. Like, there's going to be like more of me out there so that people know, hang on a minute, this is not right. What she looks like this, but actually she is like this. It takes courage to wear the hijab in America. And that's kind of how the online coaching business and consultancy started with me helping my best friend. And then I helped the next women and the next women and the next women building their business, making sales. And now organically throughout the time, I've moved into media and authority building. Because I've understood that over time, this is what I truly am fighting for your voice, for my voice, for my children's voice, for our voices to be heard. Today, I'm a best-selling author. I've been featured on Forbes, TED, TV, magazines, hundreds of media, and spoken to thousands of people around the world. No person should ever have to be afraid of who they are, and the unique voices should be heard on prestigious platforms around the world without prejudice.
If you don't find... All right. Okay, thank you everybody for tuning in to that video. Now you have a little bit of pointers about Dr. Izdihar Jamil. Now I will pass this floor and let her talk and share with you this session on how to create your book structure using artificial intelligence. Okay. Pass to you, Dr. Izdihar.
Thank you so much, Hanim. Assalamualaikum and good morning, everybody. Hope you're great today. It's been such an honor and pleasure to be speaking with you today. I know I can't see all of you because quite a lot of you have got your video turned off, but can you just drop into the chat box which department are you from? Are you from a specific department, the arts and graphics, or are you from a different department? just drop in the, that's nice to see Daniel Chun, thank you so much for turning in your video. So drop in the chat box which department are you from, and it's so great to have computer science. Yay, you know, we have a computer scientist here. Music department, let's see, well, we can health and sciences, music department, School of Education Studies. Okay, hospital from USM, awesome. Library, material science, media and PR office, new media, School of Physics, math, mechanical, PPSG. I'm not sure what PPSG is, but maybe you can just drop in the chat what does PPSG means. Language, music department, pharmaceutical, graphics communication, dental sciences, School of Management, graphics department, candidate in leadership. Lecturer at HKUST from HK Biostatistics and Epidemiology. Wow, that is absolutely awesome. I didn't even realize there's so many of you from various parts of expertise, commitment and passion. It's so great to be here. I just want to thank you for being here on, with me today. PPSG Dental. So actually, Hanem and I, we've known each other since high school. So we've known each other for a few years now. We did quite a few things, a little bit exciting, adventurous things together as a teenager. So we've known each other for a long time. And Hanim, I'm not sure. I call her Hanim because that's how I've always called her since high school. I know, I apologize because I'm not great with protocols. But I just wanted to address, a special thank you to the organizers, to Dr. Hanim and the host, and also to the professors and the dean and the respected VIPs that are in here. But Hanim actually, she helped me a lot with designing the covers for my books. So majority of my books, Hanim was the one that designed the covers, from Money Makers, from Women Who Lead, from, and she's the type that she's not going to say it to you. I don't think any of you know, but I'm just going to say it because I'm so proud of her and what she does. You have someone who is in your department, someone who achieves the best, that helped me to achieve bestseller status with my books, that helped when designing the cover. So, and she's also a best-selling author. I'm not sure if you guys know, but she is a best-selling author. So from the book, we did a collaborative book together. What was it called, Hanim? Key Strategies to Make Money.
Yes,
I think that was the book.
key strategies to make money online. That's the baby, the
Yeah,
baby.
that was the baby. That was the starting point of our collaboration, and I think that was in 2019, 2018, 2019, 2020.
Yeah, correct.
Yes, it's been a while. So, and books have always had a special place in my heart. It's what I believe in. I feel like it's a timeless tool, a timeless business card. That's gonna not only put yourself as the go-to expert in your field, especially when you have your book, the name of your book on the front cover, but also as a really powerful business card. Um, there was a time, I think it was in the month of Ramadan, when, in month of Ramadan, I went to the grocery store to get some dates. And then there was this another shopper, middle-aged guy. He was carrying a basket, and he walks over to me and says, "Are you a Muslim?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." Then he says, "Are you gonna blow yourself up?" And then I'm thinking, dude, I just left my job in Malaysia as a computer scientist. My son Abrar was 4 years old, and Nadra was still a baby. And I'm grocery shopping because my husband Rizal, we came to America because my husband Rizal got an offer on his dream job. And then now this. And it was, I just feel, my body was like everything tightened. I could breathe and I just had to leave. Then a few weeks after, Nadra, she had one of the biggest tantrums. And as soon as Riza walks in through the door from work, I said, "Babe, look after her. I'm taking a shower." And I was just washing my face when I hear, Bang, bang, bang. Come down now. There's police officers waiting for you. So I drag myself off, put on my hijab, pick up Nadra, go downstairs, and I see two police officers in full gear. They had guns over their shoulders, and on the fingers were on the trigger. And then the officer that's closest to me says, "Ma'am, your neighbor says there's a baby crying. Why is the baby crying?" And I was like, "Officer, she's still a baby." So checks her out, nothing wrong with her, and they leave. And I'm thinking, America is the worst mistake of my life. To cheer me up, Visa got me a present, which is an online course, so I can be an online coach and consultant, and I can work from anywhere and still be with the kids. And one of the things I have to do is go live on social media. So it was Mother's Day 2018. I put on a pretty pink top, some makeup, a floral hijab, and then just before hitting the live button for the first time, I freeze. Because in my mind, it's like, people are gonna think you're a terrorist. And I hit the button. And today, I'm a 17 times #1 international best-selling author. And I've been featured on Forbes, TEDx, TV, magazines, hundreds of media, and spoken on many stages around the world. And I believe that no person should ever have to be afraid of who you are. And unique voices should be heard on prestigious platforms without prejudice. And one of the best way for your voices to be heard is through books. It's timeless, it is a source of passive income, and it's also a well-respected form of authority. When you're seen with your name on the front cover, you're instantly known and an expert. Especially another layer is that when you become a best-selling author. Now, best-selling author is something that happens on Amazon. There's a specific system to it. So in Malaysia, I think there isn't anything similar to Amazon. So the way for you to become a best-selling author is that for you to have your books published on Amazon and then run a bestseller campaign on it. So the reason that we're here today is that I wanted to jumpstart your book writing. Now, how many of you here have the intention of becoming a published author within the next 6 to 12 months? If you drop in a yes on the chat box, that would be good to know within the next 6 to 12 months. Okay, perfect. So yes, I've got a couple of yeses from Ahmad. Okay, perfect. So within the 6 to 12 months, absolutely. I'm so glad to hear that everybody is on the same page. And one of the biggest challenges in writing books is not knowing the system on how to write books and also the time. Like, for example, my client Andrew. So, my client Andrew, he is a former Navy SEAL. So, Navy SEAL is one of the top elite special forces in America. And one of his biggest challenge is his schedule because he travels a lot. He has other commitments, family, speaking engagements. So time can be one of the biggest challenge that you can have in writing your book. And writing your book, actually, if you have the right system, especially with the help of AI, is going to make it faster. But I want you to be aware at this moment, what are your challenges in writing your book? Another client of mine, his name is Dr. Bud. He's a chiropractor that treats world-class athletes. One of his biggest challenge isn't his capability, isn't his expertise, isn't his knowledge. His biggest challenge is here. Because he thinks that he has to have everything perfect before he write his book or have his book out there. So this perfectionism of like wanting things to be perfect is actually stopping him in having his solo debut book out there. He is a best-selling author with anthology book, A Game Changer, but to have your own voice out there, it's pretty scary, right? When people are going to know you, people are going to judge you, people are going to think, oh, who this person thinks he is or she is in writing a book. And also the thing that in your mind that you may or may not be telling yourself. So I wanted to check in with everybody. So drop in the chat box below. What do you feel or what do you think is the biggest challenge that you have in writing your book? So let's get to that to the level of awareness. What is the biggest challenge? And let's just be truthful and honest about it. Is it the time? Is it the energy? Is it the things that you tell yourself in your head? Is it whether do I even believe in myself? Can I, to do all this? Let's have a look. Not enough data, no idea. So Helmi says not enough data. Okay, Helmi, I'm assuming you're writing an academic-based book, data, and you'll be surprised on data, on how you view the data. Sometimes you have more than enough. You have what you need, but it's just a matter of you structuring the book so that it captures the essence and bring forward the idea in the best way possible. Kasmawati, time and motivation. Ni memang the time is like the day goes so fast. There's been a time, Kasmawati, when I literally just like told my husband, babe, I'm gonna go to the hotel for 2 days. You're gonna take care of the kids, and I'm gonna go on a book writing retreat. And literally locked myself up in the hotel room because there's just it's just too hard. There's a lot of distractions, the everyday distractions. From the cooking, from the cleaning, from the job, from the committee, from the papers, from the research, clients. There's just so many things. There's been a time where I just literally had to book myself away from everything and just focus on writing and book. Motivation, that's something that we're going to be talking about in a bit. Tan Jin Yin, I'm having similar problem with perfectionism and also time. Perfectionism is a killer. Is a killer because perfectionism is actually what's stopping you from putting your work out there. Rather than having something, you feel like everything has to be ticked off and perfect before it even goes out. If it's not perfect, you're not going to have it out. But what you may want to be aware is that you're doing a disservice to yourself and disservice to others by you wanting to having things perfect. Sometimes it's just easy to have a small section of things, especially with the book, to focus on something small and specific and simple and have it out there rather than something big and complex and not having it out there at all. Writing block, yes, Stasina, you have that writing block. The thing with writing block is that when you try to translate it from here and then to the paper, so you're trying to think on how you can translate from here to the paper and over analyzing things. If let's say you're speaking to your best friend about your book idea, I'm pretty sure you can just talk about it, like this. But when you're having to translate from here to paper and writing, that's when you have a block. So my biggest tip of that writing block is just start to speak into your idea, like speak, like record when you're speaking it about the idea. And then having it transcribed or having taken the essence from it, that's going to actually speed things up. And I think one of the best books that I have read is when it's actually like a conversational style. Because you're like, oh, that person is talking to me versus having a third party kind of like language. Unstructured, yes, unstructured is one of the things as well, which is great because today I'm going to be showing you on how you can create your book structure so that you have an idea on the fundamentals on how you can get started. Mira, it's hard to start. It is hard to start, especially if you don't know the guidance of things, where you should start, what is the first step, and so on and so forth. Time and technology, from early time and understanding new technology involved in writing. So technology, like AI, is just a tool. It's still just a tool. It's not like kind of like the end all be all. Um, the way that I work and I teach is that AI is your assistant. You are the expert. You are the expert. So you don't tell AI to do your research. You do your research. So I'm going to come back in a few minutes in having the structure for it. And then imposter syndrome, name. That's like our long-term thing, right? Imposter syndrome. Who am I to even be talking about this? The way I see, even if I can just help one person, and even if that one person is myself, then I've done my job. So that's kind of like the challenges I want you to be aware of. And also in academicians, there's the KPI, right? You have to have the KPI in hitting the targets. The other thing that I wanted to kind of like brainstorm with you is like, what is your big why? What is your big why in writing the book? Because if your big why isn't clear and strong enough, you're not going to be making it because the challenges are too big than the big why. So, what is your big why? Like an example, my daughter Nadra. So, Nadra, she loves ponies. Okay, she just loves them. And she wants to have her own pony, like, like her own pony in our backyard. And she was 6 years old then, and I told her, absolutely, you can have your own pony, but you got to figure out how you're going to make money because ponies or horses are expensive. One to buy and also to maintain them. So she started to think about things, and then she said, "Okay, mommy, I want to write a book about I want to write a book so that I can sell the book and make money to buy my pony." And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And then I asked her, "Why do you want to write a book?" And then she said, "Because she saw me writing books and she saw me helping other people." So if you're a parent, know that your children are observing what you do. So don't take things lightly on the little things that you do, even if you don't brag about it. They see things. So Nadia started to craft her own storyline. And it's just a simple story. She was 6 years old. She couldn't even write them, but she just crafted a storyline on her first experience riding a pony. The pony's name was Echo, and her dream. And then we put the book together. Hanim actually helped with the illustration of the book. And the book, it's called The Girl Who Loves Ponies. The Girl Who Loves Ponies. Hanim, how can I share on here? Is it just screen share? I think.
Can you do a sharing button? There's a screen share. You can find the
Okay.
screens you want to share. For example, PowerPoint or website, your
Okay.
Google
Yeah. I think.
Chrome or Safari. Can you click the share button
Okay.
at the bottom?
Can,
And there's a
can
share
you can you
button.
see my screen? I've
Yes,
clicked
I can
share, but
see.
can you see? Okay. So this is Nadra's book, The Girl Who Loves Ponies. So Hanim designed the cover and the inside of the things. So it's just a matter. And it starts with having an idea about what your book is about. So after this, I'm going to be laying out the steps that you can follow in order for you to create your book structure. And one of the steps is having an idea on your book title. So if you look at Nadra after this, when a journalist or found out about her, they interviewed her, and she was featured on TV on Fox 11 News in LA. So it leads to opportunities. She gets to inspire other young girls with their dreams, and she also gets to make money to buy her pony. And in case, like, the power of books. Oh, I have to stop sharing that one and then share the other screen. So if you publish a book on Amazon, even if you're in Malaysia, you still have an opportunity to publish your book as well on Amazon. So let's have a look. So when people search for your name, books on Amazon has a high SEO, search engine optimization. So for example, if you search for my name, Izdihar Jamil, the first thing that comes up is my website, LinkedIn, my videos, my tech videos, my short movie, my books. So this is why one of the reasons why people like to publish on Amazon, because of the high SEO, especially when people are checking you out, whether you want to apply for a job or another position. These are the things that people look for. And if you look here, so this is 1, 2, 3, 3, the fourth link is Amazon on my office page. So this is, it lists out all the books that I have. So yes, I can. Hanim designed it for me. Spotlight magazine, she was designer for it. This one, Spotlight magazine as well. And it lists down all the books. It's pretty powerful. So when people check you out, they're like, oh yeah, she's legit because she has all these books as the experts. So potentially, I'm assuming that one of the reasons that you want to have your book is that you want to be invited to speak, or you want to um what do you call it, go up on your KPI or ranking. So these are the things that are going to help you as well, because it's not easy writing a book, and it's not easy to become a best-selling author. Okay, good job, Nadra. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's write down on the chat below, what is your biggest why for writing your book? For Nadra, it's pretty simple. She wants a pony. So she got to figure out on how to make money to buy her pony. So what would be your big why? And remember, it has to be strong enough and big enough, because otherwise it wouldn't stand the challenges that are coming through you. And I hope that it's bigger than your KPI, because the KPI never ends. There's always one thing after the other that you have to go and catch up. So what would be like your big why? So go ahead and write it down on the chat below. To help someone with the same struggles. For Mira, my novel about mental health, assaults mostly related to children in business. Yeah, absolutely, because it's about giving back, right? It's about giving people hope when you share your voice, when you share your stories, your ideas. So you gotta have something bigger that's gonna draw you in, because otherwise, 5 years on, you're still not gonna have your book. Or 2 years on, 5 years on, 10 years on. Usually people, they have an idea about their book that has been going on for some time, but they still haven't like put it forward year after year after year. So I hope today, the very least, yeah. Now at least you had a book out, on the anthology book, but at least today we can kind of like time wrap the process a little bit. Ideally, Hanim and I, we want to have an in-person workshop, but hopefully, inshallah, soon we'll get to create something. Because when I taught at USIM, the participants walked away with one chapter at the end of the session, one chapter. Some of them even written 2 chapters, and they had a plan on how to complete their book in 24 hours. Okay, dokie. So couple of things that I want to remind you on AI, and this is the common question that I get from academicians. Okay, plagiarism. So you have to remember that you are the expert, not AI. You tell AI what to do. You tell AI what case study. You tell AI the references. You tell AI how the data is going to look. And AI is just your assistant. Because if you just tell AI, okay, write a book about this, you don't know where the sources are from. But if you are being really specific about things, okay, the result is like this, and this, and this. I want you to include this, and this, and this. You will avoid plagiarism because that is from your insight. You're using your expertise, your insight, your knowledge, and your experience on how to craft the book. As a researcher, as an academician, as the expert, that's kind of like the fundamental rules. Otherwise, even my kid Nadra can write her book using AI, right? And she doesn't need to have credibility or to have a certain background in research. So, and you want to tailor your book based on, give people a little bit of sense of your personality as well. So that is again is going to avoid plagiarism. Include case study, include quotes. I like to have quotes like in the beginning of every beginning of my chapter. I like to have quotes. I like to have some action plan. I like to insert my take or my story on things, my personal story on things. So that is going to help to avoid plagiarism. And when you write a book using AI, remember that you don't just take what AI gave you and submit it to the publisher. You are responsible in curating it, in editing it, in modifying it, in putting your own layer and spin into it. Because otherwise, the publisher is going to be like, this is like so robotic, the book. So remember, you always want to have the structure from AI. You always, always, always personalize the book and tweak it. You don't just submit to the publisher the work from AI because that's not actually, ethical for you to do that. Okay. Um, yeah, anecdotes. Yes, anecdotes or anything that you wanna, especially if you're writing academic-based books. Okay. So the first step in writing a book and having a book structure using AI is that you gotta know what is the theme of your book. Does any of you here have like an idea on the theme of the book that you want to be writing? So if you do, just type in yes if you have an idea about the theme of your book. Is it going to be fiction? Is it going to be non-fiction? Is it going to be in the area here? Mira mentioned mental health. Okay, lepas ni. Mental health. Is it going to be more on the art side? Is it going to be more on the computer algorithm? So just let's start exploring into the process. Let's start brainstorming on your book theme. Because with AI, if you're not clear on the results on your book theme, then it's going to be really hard for you to have to write a book using AI. So let's start with this. What is the audience? Who is your audience of your book? My book is usually for entrepreneurs, business-based people. So those are my audiences because I work in the business space and I also talk about quite a lot about overcoming adversity. So if you type in the chat box below, what is kind of like who are your audience? Is it going to be another academician? Is it going to be another student? Is it for on leadership? Is it on management? Who are going to be your audience? It makes it easier when you know who you are writing the book for. So I'll give you a moment to reflect on that. So Eddie mentioned mommy. So is that for your mommy or for the moms? um, or like the mummy Egyptian style, like for the archaeologist, for the moms. Okay, for the moms, right? So you're gonna be talking to moms, right? So moms have a different language when you talk to them. Academicians have to have different languages when you talk to them. Mira, book talk. What is a book talk? I'm not sure I've heard of a book talk. Non-fiction fans, movie creators, okay, non-fiction fans. So if possible, try to be specific on who you are writing for. Me, when I'm writing for my book, I always have one specific person that I'm writing to. Sometimes it's for my good friend, sometimes it's for my daughter, sometimes it's for my son, sometimes it's for a client of mine, sometimes it's for this person that I've just met. So when I write, I always write for one person. It's just easier for you to write to one person, that personalization that I can get to when I'm writing to that person versus thinking about the mass general. It's harder for you to write for the mass general, but it's easier for you to write for the one person, and that connection that you have with that one person that you're writing to is going to translate to the masses. Interesting, right? People thought you write for the masses and then you speak and one person will understand it, but it's actually the opposite. You write for one person. It's the same thing when I teach for TEDx speakers. So TED Talks, I'm the curator for TEDx Huntington Beach. It's the same thing when you write your speeches, write down for one person. Who is that audience with? Book introduced by TikTok. Okay, well, I'm not really like familiar with TikTok, but yeah, it's kind of like trend here. I'm handing to children. Yeah, just like Nadra. Nadra writes for her friends, for her, girlfriends. Timothy, general public. So Timothy, you need to be more specific on who you are writing to. Audience who live alone. So you want to refine that. If possible, like I said, figure out that one person that you can connect to, whether it's your best friend, it's your colleague, it's your boss, it's your child, it's your mom, that one person that you can write to. Okay. So the second part of AI is that you want to understand what is your role. When you are using AI, you want to understand your role. Who are you writing as? For example, for me, I can write as a business coach. I can write as a sales expert. I can write as an author. I can write as academicians, arts and graphics researcher. So I want you to understand what is your role, because you are going to be using this role when you plug it in into AI. So take a moment to reflect on that. What is your role? And I want you to put it on your chat, on the chat box. What is your role when you're writing the book? Is it an academic researcher? Is it an arts and graphics academician or researcher? Is it as a computer scientist? What is your role when you are writing the book? Because this will help AI to guide the content of your work, of your book. Then it knows which angle is it going to produce the result that you want. Okay. Okay. So have you got your role, the role that you want to be using in AI? If you do, just drop it in the box and then I could just brainstorm it with you as an advisor. What kind of advisor, Radia? So you want to be like a financial advisor or like a fashion advisor? Eddie, I'm a mom of 13 kids. Okay, as a mother, then you are gonna be coming in as a mother. Your role as a mom. Abuse survivor. Uh-huh. Yeah, it can be an abuse survivor, Mira. Just thinking of, yeah, it could be that. We just need to test it. Sometimes the keyword, it just needs to have a little bit tweaking. Timothy, yes, academician, but what kind of academician? For example, arts and graphics academician or arts and graphics researcher. Hanim, in her PhD research, that she thesis, she had it as a font or typography. So, typography specialist, for example. So if you have a researcher and academician, you want to be a bit more specific. What kind of researcher and academician? Hanim, arts and graphic researcher, okay, that can work. A motivator, what kind of motivator? Certain things you don't want to keep it too general because it's going to be really hard for AI to narrow things down. So if possible, make it a little bit more specific and how you want your role to be. I'm Zoraida. I'm a clinician in vertigo sufferers. So clinician, okay, yeah, that can work. Clinician and vertigo sufferers. Okay, so you know your audience, and then you know your role. So the third part of it is that I want you to know what is the theme of your book, or what is the title or the subtitle of your book. If you don't know what title or subtitle of your book, I want to have at least an idea of the theme. So, for example, for me, the theme that I have chosen today is something that relates to my travel to Kelantan. I think I traveled to Kelantan, I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, visiting my mama's cousin, Ayaheng, who is, I think, 83 years old, who's going to be going through an operation. So that's why we visited Kelantan and all, obviously as well as our other extended families. And when we go to Kelantan, we would always go to this shop, this batik shop in Kota Baru, in the city center. But this year, when we went there, the shop was closed. And the shop has been in operation for 20 years or so. And one of the biggest reasons that we found out that the shop closed or the shop owner closed the shop is number one is that their children don't want to sell batik anymore. Their children don't want to stay in Kelantan, they want to be in Kuala Lumpur. And the second thing, the reason why they closed the shop is because of the demand from the younger generation. So the younger generation isn't, it's like batik, it's like no big deal to them. It's not something that is of interest to them. So for this topic, for this example, my book theme surrounds batik, the batik motifs and the color for Generation Z. That's kind of like my book theme, my book idea, my book inspiration that is going that I have that I've been inspired to do today. Okay, so couple of things with AI. You want to have a structure on how you want to tell AI on what to do. I have a basic structure. I'm going to run through the basic structure afterwards. So this is, let me see if I can share my screen really quickly. So if you have AI, I have ChatGPT. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter a specific command. This thing is just to get an idea on the book titles, okay? I have a theme. I know my audience. I know some of the keywords. So this is how, I'm going to generate some possible book titles and subtitles on AI. So this is the prompt that I'm going to give them, okay? And let's take a look. I'll run through the prompts afterwards, okay? But once I enter the prompt, so AI gave me some possible suggestions on my book title and my subtitle. Now remember, once you have this, what you need to do is that you still need to tweak it, okay? So here is the title or the subtitle, the command for it. Act as if you are, okay, let me just grab this example, an academic researcher for arts and graphics. So remember that I talked about what is your role. So this is your role for it. So you want to put your role in here, and then you want to tell AI what you want to be done, what you want it to do. So in here, I said list out 3 possible book titles and subtitles for a book on. So I just entered my theme, something that I have in mind, batik motifs and colors for Generation Z in Malaysia that will entice the readers to read the book. Include the following keywords. Now, this is where you get to personalize it. Remember that I told you that you are the expert, not AI. So this is where you get to put your expertise and your take on things, on how to make it different. And this is one of the biggest ways that you can avoid plagiarism, because this is coming from your experience. So include the following keywords. So these are the keywords I wanted to be put in generating the title. So here we have several book titles. Batik reinvented a contemporary voyage into Malaysia's colorful heritage for Generation Z. Subtitle is this, so it gives me a few ideas. So the key thing here is that you want to give it a parameter, 3 possible book titles, for example. You don't just let it do whatever. Give it a parameter on what to do. Here I said 3 possible book titles. And here I said, this is my theme, this is my role, and this is my keywords based on my expertise. Okay, so let me put it in the chat. I'll give you the simplified version of it so that you can practice. Have any of you got ChatGPT open? Okay, so okay, you have ChatGPT open, so you can. I've put it in the chat, a simplified version of the command. Act as if you're a X. List out 3 possible book titles. You can have 3, you can have 5, you can have 7. Me personally, I don't want to confuse myself, so I just set it to 3. So 3 possible book titles and subtitles for a book on. Enter the theme of your book that will entice the readers to read the book. Include the following keywords and whatever the keywords are for your area or specific things. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a moment, a couple of minutes for you to practice this on your chat GPT. Because there's nothing like on-hands training. So go ahead and enter that into chat GPT. And I will set the timer at 2 minutes. Okay, there's a couple of questions on research and plagiarism, like I've said. So you want to include the keywords, your own keywords from your expertise. So that's going to help kind of like avoid plagiarism. And remember, when you take things from ChatGPT, you are the expert. You tell it what to write. You tell it what to write based on your expertise, based on your knowledge, based on your personal point of view. So when you use that as the fundamentals in writing your book, you'll be able to avoid plagiarism because it is your point of view. Versus having ChatGPT write a book on batik, and then I don't know where the sources are from. Okay, so just run through the exercise first, and now we have some time to have Q&A and brainstorm. Okie dokie. I think you have 15 seconds left. Don't overthink it. For you perfectionists out there, don't overthink it. Just write whatever, okay? You will have time to practice this later. Did I use ChatGPT? Did I cite ChatGPT in my book? No, I didn't, because I just use it to craft the structure, and then I personalize it afterwards. I did the modification and the polishing afterwards. So I'm just using ChatGPT as an assistant to craft things. Yeah, correct. Out of 3, you want to use the best one. Okay. So the timer has gone off. So just put in the chat one title that ChatGPT has recommended that you like. So just go ahead and put it in the chat. Tune your mind, tune your voice. If you think, yeah, that's tune your mind, tune your voice. That's pretty cool, right? Tanjin. So mine, the one that I have chosen for mine for this particular exercise is Batik Revolution, Unraveling Modern Motifs and Colors for Generation Z in Malaysia. That is the title that I have chosen. Okay. So it's good that it's gonna kickstart you off with something. And you can always tweak the title and subtitle as you go along to make it personalized. Nurul unleashing the happy you, embracing love, laughter, and freedom for a fulfilling life. Yeah, absolutely. And discover the secrets to lasting. Shadows. So help me. Shadows of the Crime Lab. Unraveling murders with a forensic fiction writer. Okay, perfect. So you get an idea, right, on the possible subtitle and the title for your book. The next part of the work is that when you have an idea, you want to do a quick research to see what other people are writing about the topic, or if there's anyone else who has written the topic that is similar to yours. So let's say that I have mine. I usually just check it on Amazon. Let me share the screen. Okay. So here, I usually just check it on Amazon under book section. So the radicalism of American Revolution, strong towns bottoms up, prosperity, batik. So there isn't much blue batik butterflies. I don't know whether this is the same as batik. I'm assuming it's not because it's dressing butterflies. If I just type the word batik, just to get an idea what's out there. Batik tie and dye techniques. Okay, this is one of it. Batik for beginners, beautiful batik projects using simple techniques. Sit batik painting, batik, traditional Rudolph. So there isn't anything yet on the topic that I wanted to write, which is my topic was Batik Revolution, Unraveling Modern Motifs and Colors for Generation Z in Malaysia. So you get to see that where can you position your book or the tweaking that you need to do when you want to put your book out there to see if there's a demand or there's a demand for your book out there. Okay. Dr. Hanem, I think everyone is getting excited with the title, with the book title. They're getting excited, which is good, right? So
Ideas
that,
flowing.
yeah, absolutely. Oh, just a quick house rule as well. Whatever that I teach you today, the commands that I teach you is from my own expertise, my own IP. So please do not share it to others, and please do not teach it to others. Okay, this is just for you, for those who are attended for this webinar today. So it's not for you to go out, oh, let's to teach about this thing, because this is part of my copyrighted materials. Okay, so are we cool with that? So we stick it to here. Okay, you can use it for your work, but not for you to go outside of this, for teaching others or what have you not. Okay, cool. Alrighty, so once you've kind of checked it on Amazon, I use Amazon because that's where I publish my books. You can potentially use Amazon as well as the guidance, one of the tools you can use. But I'm not sure in Malaysia where, Hani, where is in Malaysia? Where can you? What's the biggest book source in Malaysia?
For academician, it should be MAPIM. Academician lah, if
Okay.
they want to research or publish a book, a research-based book. What else? MAPIM is for researcher, but there's other for
Mm-hmm.
non-fiction. I forgot what's it called. But I'll find out and then I'll voice out after. Yeah, from Malaysia lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. All righty. So now you have an idea on your book theme, on your book vision, on your kind of like, um, yeah, book theme, book vision. I usually like to kind of like put it together on Canva, like, very quickly the title and the subtitle just to have a look on how, just have a feel on how things look like and just test it out. But that's an additional step for testing things out. But the key thing here is that you know your audience, you know your role, you know your book theme, and you have an idea about your book title. So the next step is that we want to create a structure, your book structure on from your book theme and your book vision. The next step is for you to brainstorm what are the keywords that you want to include in your book. So it can be several keywords that that are relevant or pertaining to your book theme. For example, for mine, for batik motifs and colors for Generation Z in Malaysia, I want to include, for example, obviously batik, the keywords Generation Z, the survival of batik, the motifs, the color, the governmental role, the governmental role, the school, the younger generation. So I wanted to take a moment, I wanted to take a couple of minutes just to write down what are the keywords because we're going to be using these keywords for the prompt on AI. Okay, that's a specific prompt that I'm going to be teaching you today. So just take a couple of minutes to just brainstorm your keywords. Again, I'll set the timer for 2 minutes and I'm going to turn off my video and audio just to give you the space to work. Okay, this timer of 2 minutes starts now. Okay, 5 seconds left. Okay, time is up. Okay, let's put in the chat one keyword that you have come up with for your chapter. As you can see that we're building things as we go along with AI. AI gets confused very easily. So when you work with AI, you want to structure things and make things smaller, simpler tasks so that it's easier for AI to produce the result that you want. Okay, let's go ahead and see what are some of the keywords that you have come up with based on your title that you want to be included in the book structure. So, by the way, for the title that AI generates for you, I recommend that you don't take it word for word what AI gives you, but rather take it and tweak it based on your audience, based on your expertise, based on your niche. So that way you can avoid plagiarism, but also have your own spin on things. Okay, Ali, select water quality models. Okay, yep, you can have that. I'm assuming you're going to be talking. What was it about earlier, Ali? It's about water quality. Okay, water quality models. So, as an example, you don't need a lot of the keywords, but you need to have at least 3 to 5 keywords in order for you to generate the structure for it. Detail of models from Ali again. So let's have a couple more examples. Go ahead and drop down the keywords that you have come about from you have an idea now of your book vision, and then you want to have, the structure. What's going to be inside of your book? What are the keywords that you're going to have inside of your books? Okay, so now that we have an idea of the keywords, you have the idea of the book title and your role and what you want the outcome, kind of the outcome for it. We can now put together those pieces into ChatGPT. All right. So this is the command I'm going to run. I'll run through with you again afterwards. But these are, I'm just going to run it for now so that you can see what comes up for the book structure. Okay, it's still generating here. Okay. Okay, perfect. So can you see in here, ChatGPT has created the book structure for my book based on my topic here. So it has chapter 1 is going to be about this, and these are kind of like the details of the chapter. Chapter 2 is going to be about this, and these are the details of the chapter, and so on and so forth. It has 9 chapters. Why? Because I wanted to have 9 chapters. Okay. So the thing with ChatGPT, start small versus having, I want to have 21 chapters, start to have like 9 or 7 chapters, and then you build it up. So this is like my vision and intention for today's session, for you to walk away with your own book structure. So you can see within minutes, I already have my book structure, not even like 5 minutes, less than a minute or so. I already have my book structure. Okay, so let's run through what I wrote, and I'll give you the simplified.
You sharing your
I'll give
screen?
you. Oh, lah penat je cakap, terlupa share screen ya. Okay, sorry everybody. Okay, screen. Okay, thank you. Alrighty, so this is the command that I prompted in, and it's using the layers that we talked about, the keywords, the book theme, the audience, the role. And what I wanted to do is that for it to generate the book structure for me. And can I just double check that? Can everybody see my screen? Because otherwise I'll be talking short sendiri pula. Can you see my screen okay? Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So here, this is the intention for today's session. It's actually for you to walk away with having your own book structure. So within minutes, ChatGPT has given my book structure. Chapter 1 is this, and these are the details in chapter 1. Chapter 2 is this, and these are the details in chapter 2, and so on and so forth, and it has 9 chapters. So I recommend when you use ChatGPT, remember ChatGPT get confused a lot. So start with a small number. I asked for 9 chapters. So it gave me 9 versus having 21. So then it's going to be really confusing. So pretty cool, right? When you have like all this um, structure being mapped up for you, it makes it a lot easier for you to write your work. Of course, it's still going to be tweaking things as you go along. Okay, let's take a look at the prompt for this, and I will give you the simplified version of the prompt, okay? Act as if you're an art and graphic academic researcher. So this is your role. For the same book, your role stays the same. If you're writing the same book, your role stays the same. You don't suddenly change it because then it's gonna create confusion with ChatGPT. And then I say list out 9 possible chapters. So here I give it a parameter. I want to have 9 possible chapters. You can have 7, you can have 8, you can have 10, whatever that you want, but give it a parameter that it can work with. For the book title, okay, this is the book title that I have chosen. Batik Revolution, Unraveling Modern Motifs and Color for Generation Z in Malaysia. And then include the following keywords. Always, always, always include your own take and perspective and expertise into your work when you're using ChatGPT. So here I included my own keyword. Why reviving batik in Malaysia? Cultural history of batik. Motifs unique in Malaysia. Colors that are appealing to Generation Z. Social media and influencer marketing. Governmental role. School workshops to get the young mind excited. And I also added a bullet points. Add a maximum of 3 bullet points, 50 to 60 words max to describe each chapter. So that's why I get this 3 bullet points to describe each chapter. So I have chapter 1, why reviving batik in Malaysia matters. Chapter 2, tracing the cultural history of batik in Malaysia. Chapter 3, unveiling motifs unique to Malaysia. Chapter 4, captivating colors for Generation Z. Chapter 5, social media and influencer marketing, empowering batik for the youth. Chapter 6, the governmental role in preserving batik heritage. Chapter 7, inspiring the youth, batik workshop and education program. Chapter 8, empowering the next generation of batik artisans. Chapter 9, shaping the future of Malaysian batik heritage. Now, there's nothing, once you get this, remember, this is not the end all be all. This is not the final version. As the expert, you want to review things and tweak things. Sometimes it's not the name of this chapter. Sometimes this chapter is, the second or third chapter, or the content here needs to be changed or tweaked. So remember, you are the expert in here. So don't kind of like leave it to AI and finalize everything. As the expert, take the role and the leadership in curating your own book. Okay, so let me put the simplified prompt for here on the chat. So that is the simplified prompt. And then you just fill in the blanks. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give you 2 minutes. I'm going to set the timer and I want you to practice it on your chat GPT. It's hard when online session like this because I can't really see what you do. If it were like, like in-person workshop, it'd be easier for me to have hands-on in helping you. So hopefully, inshallah, that's something that we can figure out together. I'm actually flying back to California this weekend. So that's why Hanim and I, we decided let's just have something virtual and then figure out if we can work, hopefully next year, inshallah, on like a more like, so a longer session and hands-on in-person session. So let's set the timer for 2 minutes so that you can practice the prompt on your end. Okay, the timer has started. Okay, it's been 2 minutes. Let's take a look. So how did it go for you? Can you drop down a yes if you have your book structure generated by AI? So give me a yes if you have a book structure. Okay, Nurulila has got a book structure. Hanim has got a book structure. Alhamdulillah. So I hope, remember, like the key is to let go of perfectionism because otherwise you're going to be spinning on the same thing and holding on to it. Raslinda, Rafida, yes, yes, fantastic. So Alhamdulillah, I think like Hanim, we have achieved our objective today of having people creating the book structure. In layering things, we start off with knowing your audience, knowing your role, knowing your book theme, what are your challenges, what are your big why, and then layering it to the keywords, and then building out your book structure. Remember, like the template that I gave you are just for you. It's not for you to use outside for commercial, but it's just for you to be working on your project. And it is customizable. I put whether it's 9 chapters or 7 or 5 or 12, it doesn't matter. But the key is you personalize it yourself. You're the expert. So you tell AI what to do versus, hey, write a chapter on this case study. Then you wouldn't be in control of the resources and the content of it. But this way, by including things, by including your keywords, your take on this, you're able to kind of like make sure that you are avoiding plagiarism and make sure that all the content comes from you. So that's kind of like a quick recap on your book, on generating your book structure using AI. So usually you can just start off by working on the structure itself, chapter by chapter, as you go along. Obviously, for my paid clients, I teach them a specific way on how they can write each chapter and how to, compile the whole thing as in a book. But I think for today, I'm really happy to see that you have come up with a structure that you can. So we have a question here from Eddie. Can we put as many keywords? You can, but remember AI get confused a lot. So the more things you put in, the more complicated and confused it's going to be. It's better for you to start it small, just put in a few keywords, run through it and check things, and then run it again, expand it and run it again. So you build it in layers, like how I told you to have. There's multiple different ways to do it, but this what I taught you is kind of like the simplified version of how you can do it. The simpler it is, the easier it is for you to get the results. As you can see, within minutes, you get the results within just a few lines. Okay, Hanim, I think like let's open it up for Q&A because we have kind of like people have already generated their book structure. Let's open it up to any Q&A that are available.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Izdihar, for sharing the insightful content about creating a book. It's not just ChatGPT. For me, my take, I think, is the person who's running the ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is only idea stimulator. It's not the book itself. You have to do more work on that. All right. So everyone here, if you have any question, you can turn on your mic or write down in the chat box any questions about your book. For example, if you have that 6 months plan, 12 months plan, or anything that you want to ask Dr. Izdihar, this is your chance to ask her. And yeah, thank you. 6 months.
Thanks, Hanim. And I think like you're absolutely on point. ChatGPT is just a tool. What matters is the author, the take of the author, the perspective, the story, the expertise, especially if you're writing an academic book. It's your data, it's your research, it's your finding, it's your background work. That is yours. You just tell ChatGPT what it needs to produce for you using specific prompts. Okay. Eddie, do you have
Question
questions?
coming in, starting from Eddie and Tanjin, and continue from there.
So Eddie, how many words can we put in a prompt? How many keywords? Um, you can put quite a few. I recommend the most is 5 or 7, the most. Depending, like for example, like if you have 9 possible chapters, you probably want to put 9 keywords if you can, so that each keyword resonates to one chapter. But what I'm trying to say is that don't put like 30 or 40, it's gonna get confused. So start with something small, and if you need to expand it again. So you start, for example, you start with 5 keywords, and then you run it, and you see what comes out. If you're not satisfied with that, add another few more keywords and run it with that, and then see how it goes. Let's have a look. How long did it take to complete a book averagely? Okay, Tanjini, how long? So
3 months
for
boleh.
my clients, the writing, if the writing takes a few months, depending on how fast you work. And then the production process with me, my clients, using my system is a 90-day process of the production. Like it just depends, Tanjini. Like my book Money Makers, I wrote it in 48 hours because I was 8 months pregnant and I was just about to give birth to my third son, Rehan. So I'm like, I'm having this book out before Rehan comes out. So I had like the biggest motivation to produce the book in 48 hours. I used a different method then, but it literally is like I have literally booked myself in at a hotel for 48 hours and I just concentrate on my writing and I have the full manuscript, like the draft manuscript done within that 48 hours. I think our biggest challenge is the distraction that comes up every few minutes.
Somebody say 48 hours or 48 days?
48 hours.
Hours.
Yeah, 48 hours. It's a completely different accelerated method. But you know, I had a big why, right? Rehan was coming out.
Yes.
I can't cross my legs any more than I need to. So I had
Yes.
this calling to have the book out, and the book Moneymakers has been with me for many, many years.
Mm.
That I felt the call for it, the idea for it, and then you know, and I finally decided, well, I'm might as well have a baby, and I might as well have a book out. I wouldn't recommend it to everybody, but it's just something for me that it's just a calling. I don't know how to say it. Everybody would think I'm nuts, but it's just a calling that I had to do it then. So the rough draft, I had it done in 48 hours. I used a different method. I didn't use AI, but I used a different method. And then obviously the polishing of it takes a little bit longer than I usually do because then Rehan was born. So I needed to take a little bit longer, and I have a team that helps me out with the polishing. So that helps a lot. So you want to have a team. You have to check with the USM publishing house what kind of support that they give to the authors. Um, Usually, from my experience working with USIM and UTP and a few other universities, the publish that you have to hand a completed manuscript to the publisher. So just depends. I don't think they do any coaching or any accountability. Like you, it's kind of like on you. Okay, we have Radia. I got my 9 chat stand. Thank you. You're most welcome. So remember, you can have 7, you can have 9, you can 11 chapters, 12 chapters. It doesn't matter. But you give AI the parameters that you want to work with. Okay. Helmi, what is the process of getting published in Amazon? So for Malaysians, um, Hanim, did you try having the Amazon account set up before?
Yes, I
Because I
do.
know it has.
We can have a Amazon, but I think when I signed up, I was in Australia, so it's technically mine is in Australia. I tried that with Prof. Karim. You remember Prof. Karim, like back then?
Yes.
We did that, but there's some technical. Maybe we can register under Singapore as well. Yeah, that's the nearest.
Yeah, the Singapore. So um,
But
I think there's, I
not
think with
have.
Malaysian, yeah, I think with Malaysian, there's no direct route, right? Because you have to
Yeah.
enter your bank details, and because there's no Amazon
Yes.
in Malaysia. Another route for Malaysians is like what Dr. Hanim has, is on lulu.com. It's also another publishing house, which you can then distribute it to Amazon and other places.
Yeah.
So lulu.com. So Lulu is, let me share, this one, lulu.com. So this one, I'm 100% sure that Malaysians can open up an account because Dr. Hanim has an account with Lulu and she has her books in there. So this one is another way that you can publish your book on Amazon, that it gets distributed to Amazon and other places as well. Yeah, and then I think you just need to have PayPal set up, right, Hanim? For
Yes,
your
PayPal, or another one is, oh yeah, Lulu is PayPal, not Stripe. So no Stripe in there.
yeah, so you have to have a PayPal account for Lulu.
Mm.
To get to for when you get the royalty, when people buy your book, that Lulu is print on demand, so you don't have to print 10,000 copies yourself. So it's print on demand. That means whenever people order, the publisher Lulu will print it and send it off, and they would take the charges associated with it, and then they will give you the remainder royalty, whatever it is that was been agreed upon.
Yes.
So for that, what is Eddie? What is the next step? The
System.
next step for what is the next step? The next step for what? The next step for publishing books on Amazon, or the next step in book writing? Maybe you want to drop in a message, like just to clarify what is the next step. Shalini, great talk and fruitful sharing. Thank you so much. How do you first penetrate Amazon as a publisher? What type of good to publish in Amazon? Um, like for me, because I have an Amazon account, US-based Amazon account. So I just have to follow the publishing process on Amazon, and then it gets published. The same with Lulu. You just have to follow the publishing process on it. What type of book is published to Amazon? It really depends on what you are passionate about writing. So my books are mostly about business, entrepreneurship, success, overcoming adversity. So that is my book. And those books sells really easily because compared to academics book, because academic book is kind of like there's not much demand. But books on business, money making, overcoming adversities, inspiring stories, those books sells easily because it's like a timeless content that people want. How do you plan publishing your book? How long does it take? So, how do you plan publishing your book? You mean your book, right? So I think like for you, like you probably have to go through USM Press, correct, Hanim? You're
Yes,
gonna publish it through USM?
in the category in Malaysia, if we are researchers or academic, we have to go to the proper publisher, which is MAPIM, or if it's non-fiction, Dewan Budaya. So we can go to that and get the ISBN. But normally, like Dr. Izdihar said, you have to pass your complete manuscript. They don't coach you on the structure of the book, the editing, the design, all those little details. This is you as the writer, but as a researcher in academic world, MAPIM or Dewan Budaya for non-fiction things, monograph or something like that. But you have to go to the
Yeah.
MAPIM or the university publisher with the complete
Yes.
editing stuff lah. But you still have their own set of editor. They will do some more of editing process afterwards. That's for Malaysian researcher academician. But if you're just publishing, like Dr. Izzah say, something on money makers, traveling, what else? Contents that is not related to research, you can go to Amazon, Lulu, or we have other what do you call that? Non-government publisher in Malaysia. So you can go through there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so that I mean, I don't know what it would look like if you go through those outside publisher for your KPI,
Yeah.
but if you're just writing it out of, some a take that as a topic that you're passionate about that is non-academic related, maybe you can go through that route because I know usually university-based publishing houses are more on the academic side,
Yes.
depending on the publisher, but generally are more on the academic side because that is their mission and vision for it. But I think like to but kind of if you do publish your book where it's with USM Press or outside, you have to give the publisher like the complete version of the manuscript, not like a not like macam something that is incomplete, that it has to be in the best version that it can be because they're not going to be doing the work. You are going to be doing 99% of the work, and then when you submit the manuscript, they just have to do a little bit of editing, a little bit of putting the things together, and then they will publish the book. That's generally like what happens. Even with my clients, we spend a lot of time on the coaching so that they're going to be the one writing the book in their voice. And then once we have that in the best shape possible, then it's easy for me and my team to run through the process of the editing and the formatting, the proofreading and all that. So the next question, Dr. Hanim.
We have a question. What
Sorry?
application using
Hello?
hello? Yes.
Hello? Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, Zhang Bolun, you have a question?
I have a
Okay.
question. Okay, doctor. Uh, also, when I use the ChatGPT also gives me some wrong content or inaccurate current, such as some wrong site or wrong refs. it usually takes more time to identify this content, maybe double time or triple time. How to solve this problem?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I've mentioned before, that you are the expert. You tell it, this is the reference that I want you to look at. This is the reference, this is the resources for it. This is how I want you to use this reference in this chapter. Because if you tell a ChatGPT, just find, for example, my topic, find a resource, or like what do you call it? Not resource, citation for batik in Malaysia, it's going to do random things that I have no control of. And then I have to spend extra time double checking those work. So I would recommend that you, as the expert on your topic, you do your research on the sources or citations that, or references that you want to be included in your book. So then at least you know the credibility of your sources, whether it's from this journal, from this publication, from this professor, from this Harvard research. So that would always be my go-to advice. Don't tell ChatGPT to search for your sources. You tell ChatGPT, these are my sources, these are my references, this is the content of it. I want you to do this with it. So that would be more impactful and saves you a lot of time in verifying the resources that you have.
Okay, thank you. And one more question about that the AI development process about from handwriting recognition, speech recognition, image recognition to nowadays the ChatGPT language understanding. What's the next level of the artificial intelligence? It's a discussion. I don't know what's the next level uh, of the AI.
Oh, I don't know either. I don't know either. There can be multiple things. But I do know, in, like, there's always expansion, especially in technology. There's also a lot of gray areas that are coming up. So you want to be mindful when on how you use ChatGPT, especially when you are, right, in our context, in writing your book or your research or your thesis paper, or whatever it is that you want to write. So I'm not sure which direction are we gonna be going, but that I know the decisions. I mean, I know the direction that I'm going with my work with AI. And one of it, again, as a reminder, AI is just a tool for you. It's not the end all be all. So don't kind of like, after this, oh, you go to the publisher, oh, I already have written a book, but it's like completely 100% from ChatGPT. It has nothing from you. So that's a, please don't make that happen, because the publisher, Dr. Hani, the publisher mentioned, right, like the author really has to produce their own original work, correct? That is not
Yes, we have to
uh
publish our
Yeah,
original work.
yeah.
Yes, right.
thank you.
So I hope that answers that questions.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Agree. We have to stress out that it's only a tool. It's not a tool and idea stimulator where you are stuck in your writing block or you don't know what to do, you don't know what to write. You have somebody to talk to. But again, remember what Dr. Izdihar say. Don't take it word for word, or don't ask it, give me a list of reference, because we have to double check the reference. Is it credible or not credible? We do our own referencing and then tell, again, like Dr. Izia say, tell the ChatGPT, this is my reference, do something with it. Not the other way around. Because if the other way around, you have to double check if is it credible or not from a Harvard paper, Scopus paper, Woos paper. You have to double check. Maybe if they will give you 10, 20, 100 referencing that you don't know if it's credible or not. So don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I had an experience of asking ChatGPT to give me some case study on TED Talks on this topic. So ChatGPT gave me some examples, and all of the examples did not exist. The TED Talks did not exist. So it's just
Yeah.
making things up. So then I was like, might as well I do my research on the tech talks that I want that's talking about this specific thing from this specific speaker. And then I tell ChatGPT, this is what I want, how I want you to process the data. So from my experience, it's not actually reliable because it could be making things up for all you know. And then you using that as a reference that have no integrity. So let's make sure that you are writing it as the expert.
Yeah, on
I
top of,
think
agree, integrity. On top of that is ethics, and remember plagiarism on writing. Yeah, reference.
yeah, exactly.
On top of
So
that, have that.
yeah, I think we have a question here from Nuruliza. Can anyone publish in Amazon? As far from my experience with my clients I've worked with for years, um, everybody gets to publish on Amazon.
Yes.
But specifically for Malaysians, I don't think if you have an Amazon.com account or with Dr. Hanim, she has an Australian Amazon.com.au account
Yeah.
from her previous study, then that's
Yeah.
different.
I think
But
it's not hard.
we usually have to go through Lulu.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just
Online
go
and
through
find out how
Lulu.
to.
Yeah, so and then Lee Ting Teh, what application are you using? Application for what? If you can just drop a clearer message. I think Zan Bolun, I've already answered that question. Uh, Timothy Timothy Timus, as participant for this wonderful seminar, are we going to have access for you for your consultation? We haven't talked about it, but usually for me, I only speak to paid clients because I have a lot of commitment and demand. So I only speak to paid clients. So I don't know if there is a demand for a consultation. Just drop in the chat below so that we can see, and maybe Dr. Hanim and I can figure something out. I think Dr. Hanim, this is why I need to go there in person. It's just easier for me to
Yeah.
help people like in person, inshallah.
Yes, we can do this plannings ASAP. Yeah, just an announcement for the registration for the feedback form. And everybody, if you're online, please go to the form that Mr. G already message, and just to collect your CPD or my CSD. I'll just paste it again so everybody can go there. And then there's more question, I think.
Oh, there's
Feedback.
more. And Dr. Hanim, quite a few people is asking what is the next step to learn, to move forward um
Okay. We have a
from
next
this.
step actually. So waiting for Dr. Izdihar to come back in 1 year time, hopefully next year. And everybody who are tuning today, we probably will open up a live face-to-face workshop to actually produce a book in 24 hours, inshallah. Inshallah, if that
Yes,
happens.
that is the goal. And if anything, you can always connect with me via Instagram at
Yes.
I am Dr. Izdihar Jamil. So you can always connect with me with Instagram.
So don't,
I often do master classes for trainings. Um, so you can connect me with through there. But I see
have
quite a
your
few
LinkedIn,
people.
Dr. Izzah? People want to connect with you with through LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, LinkedIn. I think Instagram is easier. So at I am Dr. Izdihar Jamil. That's for Instagram. And I think it's the same one for LinkedIn as well. I think also there's quite a few people who wanting a consultation with me. I mean, let Dr. Hanim and I discuss. Because like I said, I only my priority at the moment is for my paid clients. So if you're willing to pay, then you're more than welcome to have a session with me. But that and this is my email. If you yeah, Instagram is the best way to reach out to me. But I think like Dr. Hanim and I, we have an idea of the next step, right? Like kind of like
Yes.
whether it's in person or consultation or something that we can do like more on like one-on-one basis. That's what I'm getting for it. Dr. Hanim, what are the questions that we have? I just want to make sure that
Wait.
we are.
Is the publication difficult in Malaysia? We have to get to know the publisher, I guess, in Malaysia. It depends
Yeah.
on the content. If it's non-fiction, non-academic, it's only like a story or a monologue or an anthology. It should be simple and quick. But if it's academic based, research based, it has a lot of tweaking, and it'll be a different process if it's academic. Academic will be longer. Yes.
Yeah,
We
because
need to
they have to verify the
research.
sources and they have
Yes.
to do the layer of that. There's a question from Lee Tante. Any application are you using for preparing the manuscript? So I usually write it on Word document and then Word document or Google Doc. And then I have Grammarly, grammarly.com that helps with the sentence structure and the grammar that helps to check things out. So I always recommend that before you submit your work, run it through grammarly.com. I don't know whether you guys are familiar. Grammarly, I think it's grammarly.com. So there's a free version of it, and there is also like the paid version of it. So you can start off with the free version of it, grammarly.com here. So Word document, grammarly.com, and ChatGPT are my go-to tools for it. Okay, you have Grammarly. Okay, cool. So you have Grammarly that will be like easier for you. Any other question? I want to make sure that everybody is taken care of, Dr. Hanim.
Um, Next step, did we answer the next step, publishing in Malaysia? Okay, I think that's about it. Other than that, it's more to thank you and for sharing and open new eye-opener session. Thank
Thank
you.
you. It's my pleasure, and I hope that everybody got value from it. And I think that one of the biggest key in an action moving forward is that um, what's going to get the book done is an action that you take. Like for me, it's hard for me to do things every day. Like, write. Some people say, just write a chapter every day. It's hard for me to do that because of the multiple things I have to do. So I literally ended up like booking myself at a hotel, like 1 mile from my house, and just put myself there and just writing the book. And it's
Yes.
hard for any moms to do that, but it just gives me less distraction on writing. Go on a book retreat. Hopefully, Dr. Hanim, inshallah, we can create a book retreat for
Yes,
people when I
definitely.
come
We'll do
back
a
next
book
year.
retreat.
Like
Like
we
a
go
book
to
club
Langkawi,
retreat.
yeah. Yeah, we
Something
go to
fun to
Langkawi,
do.
we go to book retreat, we have a book retreat in Langkawi, and then we'll see the only person at the book retreat is me and you. The rest are at the beach, So we'll have
Make
we'll
sure
have
that
a
we're
book
pregnant,
retreat.
so it'll be like more why you want to
Oh my
finish in
God,
25
like yeah,
10
you have
hours.
yeah, I mean you have to have a really big why. So inshallah there's something that we are planning if we can have like a mini book retreat, and then
Yes.
also for those who want to have a one-on-one session with me, we can hopefully schedule that, right? If I come in person, then it's easier for me to like fine tune things for you. Like here it's really hard for me to help to just to see like personally, but in person it's just a bit easier for me to work with you on hand one-on-one or hands-on experience. So hopefully
Mm.
inshallah we have about a year to plan things,
Yes.
a book retreat, mini book retreat, and a one-on-one consultancy session because I live in California. So I make the intention that I come back every year for the summer to spend time with my family and my kids. So we have to arrange the time, right, Dr. Hanim, for me to fly
Yes. Yes.
from,
We need to
Kuala
arrange
Lumpur to
Penang.
Penang and, all those other protocols that we need to take care of. But inshallah, so I just wanted to check if we were to create like a mini book retreat, like a hands-on in-person book retreat, with an opportunity to have a one-on-one consultation with me. The one-on-one consultation is going to be limited because I can't handle like a lot of people. but would that be something that you are interested in? If you are, just type in a yes so that we have an idea on what we're going to be planning for the next step. Or maybe if we just have another virtual session, right, in between now and then, maybe Dr. Hani will have like one virtual session just to kind of like the next step or the accountability or the expansion of a chapter, something for it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Alhamdulillah. I think we have some demand that we can propose to management.
It says, yes, I would like to know content of the next step. Yes, and then there's few people saying yes.
Okay, yeah, content. Yeah. Yeah, we can, so in terms of action, once you have your chapter, the chapter structure, the next step is kind of like you just want to write the chapter. That's kind of like the easiest thing to say. But of course, if you use ChatGPT, there's a certain prompt, there's a certain way to write it. But at least just start writing your chapter. That's the best advice I can give. Just start writing it out, and then we can flush it out when we have our, inshallah, when we have our retreat. So we don't know yet the next content we're going to be. We have an idea, but we need to, Dr. Hanim and I need to sit down and discuss it. But I just wanted to thank you to everybody for being here today. I know it's like almost 2 hours of your time. It has been my pleasure, and I hope that you have gained something valuable. More importantly, something not just valuable, but something practical that you can do. It really is simple when you know what you need to do. Within a few minutes, you can get a result. And I wanted to thank the organizer, especially Dr. Hanim, for the invitation and the invitation and the trust to have me here at USM. I think I was here. I came before COVID, right, Hanim? 2019, 2020 for another workshop.
For 2018, I think. 2018
Yeah,
or early of
2018,
2019.
2019.
Yeah,
Yeah,
somewhere
for
there.
another workshop. Yeah, it would
Yeah.
be nice to be back. But thank you so much. And I think Dr. Hanim has mentioned a few things you have to do with the feedback or something, the
Yeah.
My CSD and My CPD.
Yes, remember to log into your to the forms and to get your CSD and my CPD. I'll just message it again if you missed the link. I also like to thank the organizer, School of the Arts, the Dean, Dr. Sarina, Dr. Fariza, Mr. Jeet. He's MC, but he's here today to host. Thank you so much. I'm very sorry that I hope you get well soon. And Madam Yohanis for giving me the information on how to do this webinar, and then also I'd like to thank Dr. Ras for last minute helping me to set up this session. Yes. And everybody here, I hope you have some takeaways to generate some more ideas. Maybe we can come back with Dr. Izdihar to construct on the what next, on what's the next steps for us to do and for you to continue to thrive and publish and actually publish. All right.
Yes, actually published. All right, thank you so much, and thank you to the dean and to the organizing committee and to the respected management that helped made it happen. I know it wasn't an easy thing, but alhamdulillah, I'm glad that we did it. I'm glad that people are turning up, and safe to say, right? Just a quick yes if you have your book structure, whether it's 5 chapters, 7 chapters, just a quick yes so that we can just see as a visually people that are getting results. I think we did. So just it's good to know that people walk away with something tangible from this talk. Thank you so much, Dr. Hanim and the organizing committee. Really is a pleasure.
All right.